There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Now, good morning to you. I hope you enjoyed 2.5 times the standard. Well, it's by no means standard. It's extraordinary, the music from Warren Charm. But I didn't mean to play it 2.5 times this morning. And do you know what? You can share in today's technical challenge. Thankfully, we're working on a new laptop. Thanks to T-Duck for that. Turn it on and off again. Turn it off and on again. This morning, dazed and confused. Is that what you could see? Could you see me? And Mike, I'm being asked to turn the mic on. I think we're okay. There he is. Okay, all right. Thank you, everybody, for your help in getting the show on the road this morning. Thank you so much. You don't know how much I appreciate that I'm not sat here for one of my record silences of 3 or 4 minutes just talking to myself here in this room on the Silver Coast in Portugal. We seem to be okay. Did you get 2 lots of the theme tune? I've got all sorts of little tweaks to do. I was thinking to myself, okay, what I've got now, I have a laptop in front of me and then I have a bigger screen, which makes life a bit easier, theoretically. And the problem I've got is I've got the same thing twice. And I'm thinking, do I live on air do the shared screen thing? Do I try and configure this live on air this morning? And I know some of you are saying, do it. I mean, it can't get a lot worse than it got yesterday, right? When I actually was thrown out of my own show, leaving my esteemed guests, Michael Heron of Serenity, Nuno Mendes of Winsurance, and Daniel, the great Daniel Reyes of Reyes and Pelicano, running the show without batting an eyelid. They were amazing yesterday, but I don't think we should put ourselves in that sort of danger again today. That means I don't think I can share with you the images I wanted to share with you, but we do have a good show. Anyway, we've already got a 3 duck rating, which is a great thing. Look at that. So thank you very much. I think yes, maybe. What is it? Is that because it's Wednesday? We still haven't figured out that little riddle there. We've got Coach Turner with the God Squad tip of the day. Hopefully it's about de-stressing and relaxing. Could do with that this morning, Coach Turner. Thank you. Deagle's in as well. James, of course. Thank you, James. Did you like what was in your inbox this morning on WhatsApp? And Pete's in as well. Morning, Pete. Antonio F. Pete, we know what Pete will be saying. Should have got a Mac. You wouldn't have all this trouble if you got a Macintosh Apple products there. Stephen is in. Thank you, Stephen. Stephen, it's funny. Stephen is always watching when the biggest gaffes occur. Is there a connection? Is there? So this suddenly occurs to me, Stephen, that every time there's a big technical problem, you're always watching. Owen's in as well. We'll say hello to each and every one of you and share your comments as the show unfolds this morning. It's a good one. It's Wednesday. It's Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. And Michael Erroneous Maximus will be here this morning. And added Tamakatana, one of our favorite comedians. Well, I'm going to just go all out and say he's my favorite comedian. He's based in Portugal, of course. We've had him on the show a few times, and he's got a show coming up this week, I believe. And he's going to tell us all about it. And he's pushing back. He's pushing back about free speech and censorship. Never challenge. Yeah, I suppose this is good. Never challenge worse. Couldn't get worse. Yes. The Nigerian, what's this football chant for penalties over the bar? That's right. Blame it on Steve. Okay, we'll go with that. Thank you very much. Let me just see if this is working or not. Well, that's a blessing, isn't it? Yes, warming up with the dad jokes, with the dad joke rim shots. And who doesn't like a rim shot first thing in the morning? Thank you very much, T-Duck, for those. And we are talking, Republic Day. We've got a bit of today in Portuguese history. Thank you very much. Just go with that then straight away. This is very good. The 5th of October, 1910, revolution was overthrown by the centuries-old Portuguese monarchy and its replacement by the first Portuguese Republic. Okay, so revolution was overthrown by the centuries-old Portuguese monarchy and its replacement, the first Portuguese Republic. Don't quite understand that. Those don't seem to go together, do they? The old Portuguese monarchy and the first Portuguese Republic. Let's see how this turns out. It was the result of a coup d'état organized, which is a French phrase, which just it seems to have embedded itself in such situations and will forever be used. I can't imagine a change of state not being referred to as a coup d'état. But then again, I mustn't tempt Providence too much this morning. We'll stay with it. So it was a result of a coup d'état organized by the Portuguese Republican Party. Oh, I thought there was going to be more. So we'll stay. Unless anybody has got more to add to that, let's just mark the today as a Happy Republic Day then. So it wasn't plain sailing thereafter, I think. So if anyone's got any more background, let's go with that. The Republic Day background. If you've got any more, that'd be fantastic. That's a fantastic start from you, T-Duck, this morning. Thank you very much. And you have a deep thought of the day. I fancy going deep right now. Deep thought of the day. Don't waste your breath to save face. When you've done your best and even more is asked of you, fate will decide the rest. That kind of rhymes, doesn't it? Don't waste your breath to save your face. This is something I think at the Tory party conference that could be etched on the back of the curtain just before they're going out on stage. Don't waste your breath to save your face. When you've done your best and even more is asked of you, fate will decide the rest. Okay, thank you, Robert Hunter, for that. Yeah, stop digging. I mean, I'm guilty of this myself from time to time here, aren't I? And Robert C. Christie Hunter was an American lyricist, singer-songwriter, translator, and poet, best known for his work with the Grateful Dead. Love it when a musician comes up with something pithy like that. That's fantastic. Thank you, T-Duck, for that as well. And Portuguese saying of the day. Like to run these up against my guest. Wonder what Michael Heron will make of this. Quem conta conto acrescenta ponto. Whoever tells that rhymes as well. Whoever tells a tale adds a point. When someone tells a tale, they add a detail. Are you doing this on purpose this morning, T-Duck? Excellent work. But I'm not sure I understand this. Whoever tells a tale adds a point. Does that mean then telling tales as in porcupines? And a little bit of Cockney rhyming slang for you there. Or is that when someone bothers to give you the full story, they are adding detail to the situation? I wonder, what does that mean? The T-Duck dad jokes of today, and who knows, other people may have them as well, as they did, was it yesterday? Biology teachers, gummy bears, and chicken. It's a classic. Why did the chicken dad joke, which we'll do at the end of the show. Fantastic. Okay, let's go to that God Squad tip of the day then and see what Coach Turner is advising us to do. I, for one, that was a moment for me to show you a beautiful photograph I took on the beach last night. Out late last night, lovely bit of dinner in the town. Thank you, Guido and Annie, for meeting up with us yesterday. It was lovely to hang out with you. And here's to a long and happy life for you both on the Silver Coast and around the bay when you when you finally, put your plans into action. It was great to see you in the meantime, and lovely to go for a walk on the beach late last night. I was on the beach, must have been after 10 o'clock, and I had a lovely twinkly light photo to share with you, but no, I can't bring it to you this morning because I don't think it's right for me to try and add the WhatsApp app to WhatsApp for desktop during the show, unless people are chanting, do it. Yes, try and configure the screen side by side, Carl, rather than having two pictures of yourself, you narcissistic egotist, in front of you on the screen, and wussing out on WhatsApp and not trying to make the technology work live on air. What happened to you, man? You used to be cool. You used to do that stuff. Anyway, I may well have used to have been cool. And now I need to take better care of myself and the situation that I'm responsible for. And here's a good example. Growing old disgracefully, then, a bit of gentle fitness for bon viveurs, certainly in that category this morning after last night's drinking of Vinho Verde and a range. Actually, let me tell you about this. Thank you very much, Tasca do Lago, as well, in the town at San Martinho de Porto. What did we have as a smorgasbord of Portuguese delights? We had grilled sardines, and very good they were too. I have to say, come October, they're not the same sort of flavor you're enjoying in the in early summer, are they? Of course, but they were good. They were good. We had assorda, the best assorda I've had, which our American friends described as being like grits, which I think is a pretty fair comparison. So a seafood assorda, which was really very good, and I ordered it just so that we could try it among us and have it as a classic to share. And I actually really enjoyed it. We had a grilled dorada as well. We had a plate of cooked prawns, and they were big. Some big shrimp there. And what else did we have in there? There's something missing. Oh, porco all'antajano, which I was going to share another picture of from Owen. That'll have to happen tomorrow. We'll save up the pictures and we'll share those tomorrow. But Owen, the food alchemist, prepared a beautiful porco all'antajano with, of course, pork and clams. We had that last night. And we had a few chips and a mixed salad, and it was really very good. It wasn't a carb-free zone, Ian Turner. Some lovely big Portuguese potatoes in there, which you need to soak up the juices of the dishes I just mentioned. So God Squad tip of the day then, after a bit of bon viveriness, we've had a coup d'etat and we've gone to some bon viveriness this morning. Here's a simple exercise for your core. I can't do this at the moment. My back still hurts. So I think I should lay off this. But those of you who can do this, why don't you? And send a photo of yourself while doing it. Please don't put yourself in any danger whilst taking selfies of you doing exercise. Lay on your back, arms by your side, pressing the heels into the ground. Lift your hips up as high as possible. Hold for 10 seconds and repeat 5 times. Now, this is another one that you really should put a do not disturb sign on the door, or warn people that if they walk into the room that you're in, you might be thrusting your hips up as high as possible whilst lying on the ground. This is asking for trouble in so many ways. If you have that covered, lift one leg off the ground and bring your knee up towards your chest. Presumably your hips aren't thrust up towards the skyward at this point, though, are they? Alternate legs. This might need another video, Coach Turner, if you don't mind. Misses, and this might open us up to an entirely new audience as well, with you lying on your back, thrusting your hips as high as you can. And what's wrong with that? What could possibly be wrong with that? Thank you, Coach Turner. You're going to get one of these for that. Yes, careful with the hip thrusting this morning, everybody. And who doesn't like, though? Bon dia, Colin Gumpers. Another wet, dark Belfast. Very windy overnight. Oof, me too. And 3 interactions. What's this? 3 interactions, 3 likes pre-show. Let's keep smashing them like buttons. Go on, please. Give it a smash. We still don't really know what it does, but why not do it anyway? It's what the kids say, isn't it? Smash that like button and hit the bell as well. You're smashing the like button, hitting the bell. The text seems to be holding up fairly well. I shouldn't say that either, should I? Although a little bit, is it a bit glitchy? Is it a bit glitchy where you are? That's another thing kids say, isn't it? I hear my lad saying that when he's online gaming with his pals. It's gone glitchy. A bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz carta a todos from James Slug Thug with a Margot Imperial in this case. Okay, tem feito. Do you know what? What I thought just went through my mind that if I do show you the pictures, I could go proper old school and show you on the screen. So I am going to do that in case you are thinking, porco all'antajano, that sounds nice. Here's Owen's version of it. He's made it a little bit saucy. Oh, matron. There you go. A saucy version there. And I like the idea of that for putting my spuds into the gravy. Who doesn't like to put their spuds in some gravy? And or dip some bread in there, some Portuguese bread into that sauce. My mouth is watering looking at that picture. I suspect yours might be too, wherever you are. And then on the way down to the bay last night, you couldn't see the sunset because of the Sahara. And you could see my lovely cracked screen there as well. And the reflection of the room. Hold on a minute. I don't know how good that is. Not very. But you could see that there isn't much of a sunset there because of the Saharan sand. And then a twinkly bay last night. Twinkly bay. That's what oh, you can't see. You just see the reflection of the screen there, can't you? That is awful, Carl. What were you thinking? Okay. We got a Feliz Carta from Slug Thug James. And a cue this quote of the day then, getting deep. There is a force within that gives you life. Seek that. I'm liking the sound of this already. There is a force within that gives you life. Seek that. In your body, there lies a priceless jewel. Seek that. That's what you can say, actually, when you are lying on your back, thrusting your hips upward, and somebody walks in and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And you say, "No, no, it's okay. I am just," what could you say? "I am just seeking the jewel that lies deep within me." There you go. Priceless. It is. Seek that. Oh, wandering Sufi. If you are not Sophie, wandering Sufi, which is what is that? The Gnostic arm of Islam. I suppose you could say that, couldn't you? If you are in search of, no offense meant to anyone, if you are in search of the greatest treasure, don't look outside, look within and seek that. I'm going to do that in justice and read that without interruptions, added thoughts and interjections because it deserves it. Thank you, Rumi, for this. He also said, didn't he? I did say I wouldn't interject. I will read the whole thing in one go. Out beyond right and wrong, there is a field. I will meet you there. We need that in these times, don't we? There is a force within that gives you life. Seek that. In your body, there lies a priceless jewel. Seek that. Oh, wandering Sufi, if you're in search of the greatest treasure, don't look outside, look within and seek that. Yes, mic drop from the mighty Rumi there. And Yogi Berra quote of the day. Seems a bit irreverent to do a rim shot after an inspirational quote, but I'll give you one of these instead. Which reminds me, Jenny B will be with us on Friday. How about that? The final show of this kind on Friday with Jenny B. And a bit of an after show party if you want to hang out after the show as well. We'll have a little bit of a Zoom together. And tomorrow Wiley talking to us from Cascais, of course, and giving us taking the pulse of the property market, certainly in and around Cascais and Estoril. And she gives a good view of the rest of what's going on in the country as well. So join us. Wiley tomorrow, Jenny B on Friday. Yogi Berra quote of the day then. You cut my pie. Oh, no, cut my pie into 4 pieces. I don't think I could eat 8. I love his quotes. And we will have a picture. This is an early review of the show this morning. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. And we've never really been life as we know it here, have we? And long may that continue. T-Duck with the Bon Dia Alegria Gumpers and his Happy Republic Day news there. Thank you for that, T-Duck, stepping in there. Whatever happened to the prof? I think he got a hump with me in my politics. But do miss the prof, don't we, with his Portuguese today in Portuguese history. No disrespect to you, stepping in there, T-Duck, with a bit yourself this morning. Poem for the autumn then. Is this filthy or is this readable this morning? I think it's okay. No swearing in. A quick scan. I have to do that with Pete's messages. Poem for the autumn. I love fencing. In the sun, I love fencing. It's so much fun. When I die, I'll know I'm in hell because I'll be fencing there as well. I'm not sure I've got the scanning right, but we get the get the gist of that. How many kilometers of fencing are you erecting there? And we know that Pete, he likes a good erection first thing in the morning, doesn't he? When it comes to setting boundaries, that's what he's doing. He's literally setting a boundary around his property, and quite a lot of erecting going on by the sound of it there in central Portugal. Just exactly how big is it, Pete? Bon dia. Oh dear. Bon dia, Antonio F. Quick. And look at him. He's maybe fed up with fencing, but not so fed up that he chucks in some Portuguese as well. Good effort, Pete. Bon dia from Steve. Yes, Stephen, we know that it's you are the culprit. Strange things happen. You're our talisman of technological I'm thinking of another alliteration to go with that. The talisman of technological tampering. No, but yeah, there's no physical tampering going. But you are always here when something goes a little bit strange and awry with the technology. Has Carl plugged his laptop in today? Well, that was where the problems began yesterday. So you heard, you know what it's like, because you hear the alerts that I hear. My soundboard for my laptop, I could turn them off. I could turn those notifications off, but a lot of the notifications come through when I'm on air, and I suspect that means a lot of you think you're getting text messages or WhatsApps or whatever. And I got the low battery warning yesterday, and I decided to plug it in or give the cabling a little bit of a wiggle. And I was already down to a universal charger that I'd brought to Portugal with me 5 years ago, and I'd bought it. It's probably 15 years old. Not that a lot's changed, has it, with laptop chargers? But then because it's got a polarity switch and you can pull the plug apart and change whether the positive to the negative. That came out, and as I was putting it back together live on air, I could see little sparks flying out of that. So that was exciting yesterday. Those problems aren't entirely behind me, and certainly the logistics that changing laptops. And I'm in no way ungrateful for the use of the outside broadcast laptop this morning, which is what we're using inside this morning. And we'll use later on today, do a bit of live streaming later on this afternoon as well. But we watching you, Stephen Wells. And the laptop, yes, the new laptop is plugged in. It's just the problem we have this morning is just showing the same thing twice on both laptop and big screen. And do I install the WhatsApp software so that I can share the pictures? Do I configure? I couldn't see immediately how to do it, which is a bad start, isn't it? This is so true and can be said of technology, can't it? Every day is a mystery. And I've got a feeling not even people who know about technology are completely comfortable and confident with many of the technological situations they find themselves in. They're often specialists, aren't they? And I would say our nerdy friends who know about tech probably still only know about 10%, 20% of tech, and they have to rely on other nerdy, geeky friends. And I mean, and what could possibly go wrong with that? And that's why we haven't settled it yet, I think, because they're still arguing about what's best, what are the best systems, and and ultimately we know, as has been said here this morning, it comes down to turning it off and back on again. Have we really come that far? Bon dia, Gumpers! Lovely to be able to share. And I'm sorry not to share it very well, but I'm delighted I was able to share your pork this morning, Owen. Good stuff. Lee McGrady, good morning, people. How you doing, Lee? And thank you for your earlier prompts. Mike, no sound. Can I also ask for the next line whilst I've got all this lovely backup production going on? Line, please. Okay, yeah, in a way I can. This morning on Dazed and Confused. It's all very well, Stephen. Heckling. You are number one suspect now. Morning all, Elra, Linda. Good morning to you. Where you been, Elra? But we've missed you. And okay, we've done those bits. I love bank holiday traffic. Okay, didn't notice that so much as I walked up the street with the dogs this morning. Just another day in the Truman Show landscape where I live. And I'm not going to be able to see quite in the same way that Lee McGrady is seeing the traffic this morning. Bank holiday traffic, meaning it's better, or no, I'm sure it's better in Lisbon this morning without people going to work because of Republic Day. Okay, that's either because, what's this, Stephen? Because I'm always watching, or the biggest gaffes are not as rare as you think. Okay, definitely not talking to you this morning. And Monty Antonio, obrigado, good to be back. Yes, Elra, where you been? You don't have to, let's move on. You don't have to talk about the past. Let's just be here in a moment together, mindfully and majestically this morning. Okay, have you had your morning beer yet? There's a good friend, right, who asks you if you've had your morning beer yet. And I think the saying is about improvised embellishment. Check you out, you're walking thesaurus. Thesaurus. I don't know. Look it up in a thesaurus or a thesaurus. So many public holidays and festas. How do you get any work done, Lee McGrady? No wonder everyone is paid an extra month. A comment on the monthly public holiday, at least here in Portugal, is the God Squad tip of the day, the reverse cowgirl. Well, it kind of is in a way, isn't it? Not that I know much about these sorts of things. Pete obviously does. What's this black lightning on Carl's phone? Cracked screen. Is that what it's called? Black lightning. That's really good. I've never heard it referred to as that. So a few more hellos then before we welcome Michael Heron onto the screen. Heronius Maximus is here today. That's a lot of what's this? That's a lot of sword play, all that fencing, word play, sword play, and Pon de Alegria from Iceland this morning. Happy holidays, or is that Icelandic? Happy holidays. There, thank you, buddy, for being with us. Oh, look at this! And today, celebrating Portugal, then Republic Day. I wonder if Michael Heron knows much about the Republic Day. If he doesn't, he'll be hastily looking it up in the next 3 minutes before he comes onto the screen. See what I did there? And, okay, thanks, buddy, for being here. Carl was on holidays back home, visited Porto for a wedding, back in Finland for cold and rain. Yes, that's what it says on the tourist brochures, isn't it? Finland for cold and rain, waiting for the snow and a lot more fun than rain. Well, glad to hear that. Excellent stuff. I think we'll go to Michael. Not only if I set him the task of finding out with Republic Day, shall I bring him onto the screen early as well, or should I give him a couple more minutes? Let's give him a couple more minutes there. Okay. Do forgive me. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna have a sip of my tea. I've got a croissant in front of me, a ham croissant. I was a bit grumpy this morning because it always throws me when Mrs. M is in the studio before me talking to Rick in Bali. Some of you might have seen her conversations with Rick in Bali. They're of an inspirational nature, you know. But this is the warm toilet seat day. So I come into the studio, it's already been used on a Wednesday morning. And if that wasn't bad enough, she gave me this little technical note. I couldn't get my green screen working this morning. Oh, thanks. Okay. Not that I had a problem with that, as it turns out, as you can see. Although it's frizzing a bit, isn't it? And then I had my eye on a croissant, which I thought, okay, and I got up late. So I'm thinking to myself, I know, I'll grab the croissant that is there, the last croissant. Should have known. And I'll eat that when I come back from walking the dogs. Come back. Not only is there not a croissant left, but the box is just, I mean, I don't know. This is what happens, doesn't it, in family life or shared housing? You know, you think to yourself, I'll have that last thing there when I come back. That looks nice. And when you come back, not only has it been taken, they've left the empty box there. That is the actual definition of adding insult to injury, isn't it? Take the last thing, but don't even throw the packaging away. Or is it just to say, you know, the empty box is there because I needed you to know I have taken the last one. Happy 5th of October. Carl from Pedro Martins coming here today on Republic Day. Let's go to Mike. Let's go to him a little bit early. Let's give him a nice warm hand on his opening. What? Good morning. Bon dia, Alegria. How are you?
Mate, do you know what? It's really funny because I never watch you before coming on, but for some reason I watched a little bit and I was like, he's looking a bit grumpy this morning. What's been going on? And I just heard the story about the croissant. Now it all makes sense.
I mean, that's rude, isn't it? You know, take the last one, but then leave an empty box. That, you know, that's
true.
Galling is the word.
It's just a bit provocative, isn't it, to do that? It's like,
yes, there's another good word that you could use in this context and scenario. Yeah, I will be launching an inquiry after the show and teaching people much better manners than I had to deal with this morning. How are you, my friend?
Perform a croissant audit before the day is out. I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing really good. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Obviously, happy Republic Day.
Happy Republic Day to you as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a bit strange, isn't it? You've got two British people on the screen wishing each other happy Republic Day in their new home of Portugal with all that's gone on recently back home. Interesting stuff, huh?
Yeah. Especially, you know, given the fact that we all get the day off because, you know, when was it? I think 1910. The monarchy was overthrown here in Portugal. So yeah, it was quite some time ago. And,
we're still enjoying the benefits.
Yeah. And, you know, I think it's just interesting, isn't it? Because it's rare that obviously Spain is the exception. Normally in Southern Europe, every country is a republic. It's only Spain and Northern Europe that still have a monarchy. But we probably shouldn't go there because I suspect
a can of worms, isn't it? That is a proper can of worms.
I suspect we can guess your views on this.
Anyway. No, people are getting that wrong. People do struggle guessing my views. I got called a QAnon yesterday
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't really put myself in that category. And a non-believer of science yesterday as well. Now, I do
Wow.
understand how people do come to that conclusion, but I think we need to be very careful before judging to too many, jumping to too many
Very
conclusions here.
true.
And what I would say is, my views are nuanced and mixed.
Yeah.
And quite unresolved. I because I myself are slow to jump to any conclusions, even about my own
Are you a Republican or not?
and you put me straight on the spot there. I'm waffling on, and you're just saying you're like being Jeremy Paxman suddenly. Are you a Republican or not? No, I wouldn't describe myself as that. It's a bit like the Brexit thing. You're forced, aren't you? In or out, red or blue, right or left.
Well, I think a lot of people in the UK feel that way though, because we've had so much respect and admiration for the Queen, but maybe we don't necessarily believe that everyone who's born into that role is best suited to it. That's probably the best way of explaining it.
Well put, sir. Yes.
I've done you a service. That's what I'm here to do, mate. I'm here to help you.
And you've done your job already. It's only 3 minutes past 9, and you've done your job. And we should probably celebrate the new currency whilst we're on the matter.
Oh wow, that's the first time I'm seeing it. That's the first time I'm seeing it.
Do you like it? What do you think? Not too bad.
I think it looks quite nice. I think it
does.
Looks
the profile's quite clever as well. Although that's going to wear a hole in your pocket, isn't it?
Yeah.
With that little protrusion on it there. I don't know if you're seeing it on your size of screen there. And yes, now here's the thing with your question you asked me, because it looks like I haven't answered the question, am I a Republican or not? When it goes into the debate that you tend to hear and no doubt the Spaniards have it as well. They still got a monarchy. I'm sorry, forgive my.
He's clinging on. He's clinging on.
Well, there you go. I mean, they've got such a high profile that not many people even know, do they? Whether they have one over there. Certainly in the UK, you've got a monarchy, and it's all over the coins and everything. And no one in the world at the moment would be unaware of the fact that there is a monarchy in the UK. But when the arguments are dished out, it's like they're good for tourism. No, they don't cost a lot of money because on the balance sheet actually make more money. I think the important thing is to work on the benefits and enhance and accentuate those and address some of the other aspects that are not so helpful. Which is, I think, another way of saying what you've said, possibly. But we don't seem to do that, do we? We have to make these sort of harsh decisions, yes or no, left or right, blue or red. And I think that's a great problem right now. It's not an unknown problem, is it? This whole thing of polarity and binary thinking. It's not really helping us in the world of politics or society.
Yeah, because you should be allowed to change your mind as well. It's not like you say. It shouldn't just be as simple as one or the other, because sometimes you may think differently.
Well, that's what happens as well, isn't it? That's what happens. Clearly. And not only did you maybe say something 20 years ago that you've now changed your mind on, you can actually get cancelled or dealt with quite poorly on some platforms, can't you, for a view you had 20 years ago that not only it was 20 years ago, but you don't even think it anymore. But there you go. Tamer will be calling us. He'll be calling into the show on 913-590-303. Keep that line clear, because he's going to call us from a train to tell us about his gig that's coming up this week. I did have a photo of him that I wanted to put on the screen. I might have to find a different way of sharing him with you.
He's gigging in Portugal. Is that why he's coming on?
He is. I'll give you a bit of backstory on Tamer. He is an American who was in a relationship that I think was very, very fast. He met his lady, and not only did he meet his lady and they got together quite quickly, they also decided to move to Portugal quite quickly, almost on a whim. And then he's come to Portugal as a top comic in the United States. He's been a warm-up on the Apollo. And he's decided to launch his career in Portugal. And he's doing comedy in Portuguese, Michael.
Serious?
Yes. And I think he's an absolute legend and hero. And I think, the thing for comedians at the moment is they're often some of the political responsibilities of society and commentary seem to be falling with politicians. Sorry, not with politicians, but with comedians. Yes. And, they do more or less a bad job about it, but they are feeling the heat, aren't they, of being literally the jester, the court jester, but in the media rather than in the royal court anymore, saying things, getting shot down for it. But I think they're very brave. Not only is he very brave in being the jester and pointing the finger at society, stand-ups get out there and can die the most horrible metaphorical death on stage. And he's doing it in a second language as well. So I think he's an incredible legend and hero, and we'll be talking to him.
That's amazing. Respect to him. Well, I look forward to speaking to him later. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think, having said that, there is a comedy festival happening. I think it's up north. We'll find out more about it from Tama. And the first night is a concession to the English language, so they'll be doing their first night in English, and he's all part of that. And he's helping other comedians and comics in Portugal as well. He runs workshops. So he's a totally brilliant bloke.
Fantastic. And it also makes sense because not only he can do it in both languages, because as we know, the level of English in Portugal is so high. I'm sure if he did stand up regularly in English, it would be really popular as well. But the fact that he's doing it in Portuguese is amazing. Because I think, for me, like, the funniest comedians are if you're like watching stand-up in, say, the UK, and you're watching a stand-up from another country, and they point out things about British people that are ridiculous and make us laugh about it and make us realise things maybe we didn't realise because it's right under our noses. That's when I think
exactly
it's really funny. So he's probably doing that about Portugal and the Portuguese, and they're loving it. They're absolutely loving it.
That's absolutely right. You as a foreign observer, you can go there, can't you? And you can say, actually, now you mention it, we are a bit funny and weird like that, aren't we? And he is doing Portugal-based comedy as well as part in Portuguese. So hats off to him, or the suitable and appropriate Portuguese version of the traditional hat here, which I don't know what that is. And I can see Rebel Mama is here because she's a great fan of Tama. The show is in Porto, but Tama will tell you. Thank you for that, Rebel Mama.
Thank you.
So I was just checking in with you, Michael. You're doing well, and it's what's it like in and around Lisbon? Is it very quiet today because of Republic Day?
Yeah, it's very quiet. It's very quiet, and but also, very, very warm as well. I think it was 32 degrees yesterday, which is crazy for this time of year. So
enjoying that.
Lovely. Yeah, it's been lovely. It's been lovely, and very chilled today. So it's been good. It's been really good. Yeah.
Well, ask anything about Portugal Wednesday. Do ask any questions you have of Michael Heron from Avanlight, who's here with us this morning. People are not happy, like me, about people leaving the empty packet. That is horrible behaviour, leaving the empty packet, says Deagle. It's like leaving, says James, the empty roll on the toilet paper dispenser. Yep. There's a lot of repressed anger here that I'm giving. I mean, but a couple of sort of angry outbursts there. But look at this. This is really sort of, when you get so angry, you start working on plans and strategies to have that anger come out. Look at this. This talk about revenge is a dish best served cold. Every time someone puts an empty box back in a cupboard, I wrap it up, put their name on it, and put it under the Christmas tree. I mean, can you imagine the atmosphere on that?
Wow.
That's
dark, Stephen. It's like someone said to me once, the best form of revenge is revenge.
Well, he's taking it to a new level there.
He is definitely.
I imagine he gives them a cold, steely look as he's passing them their present. And then when they've unwrapped it as well, he continues with that hard stare. And they probably never do it again, to be fair. Bon dia from Garvo.
Bon dia, Garvo.
Is it me? Are these loading up very slowly onto the screen? And did you lose me when I was trying to share the screen of Tamakatan's website just now?
I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it. But I thought it was my connection. I just thought it was my typical bad Wi-Fi connection at home in Portugal. So I didn't think anything of it.
No, hold on. You can only speak for yourself there. Some of us have incredible fiber connections around.
Yeah, Portugal. It depends where you live in the country.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that could be a question for this morning. Empty box left. Look at this. This is glass half empty, glass full sort of stuff, isn't it? Empty box left. Refill time. Yes. Okay, that's a nice way of looking at it. I could stop being grumpy and I could say, the family needs more croissants. I'll just pop out and get them, shall I? And take my cue from the empty box. It's true. Empty box. What's Pete saying about this? He will have a special view on this. An empty box is better than the beautifully wrapped goat's brain and hide I was storing for Luke and Sarah. I kept opening it, thinking it was something nice to be presented with a treat only a zombie would like. Well, so that was in your fridge, was it? You were just keeping that nice. I mean, the idea of keeping a goat brain and hide nice is stretching it a little bit. But there you go. That's what they do in central Portugal. Thank you for that, Pete. No party affiliation. What does that mean? Is that going back to QAnon possibly? And good, bad. What's this? Good, bad, right, wrong, better, worse, different. That is the one way of doing it, isn't it? And that coin. Let me bring that onto screen. Is eerie. Very good, Peter. That's smart. that coin is eerie. While I'm in the picture deck, then I did have a picture. Have we talked about? Well, we certainly haven't talked about football yet today, and the World Cup is coming. And normally we do touch in on football. Have we talked about the strip yet, and whether you like it?
Oh, that's the first time I'm seeing it.
Oh, okay. So we clearly haven't. Then, what do you make of that? And have you got any updates on the progress of the World Cup and how you think that's all going to happen? You know, there's definitely a machine, isn't there? A PR machine that will crank into operation as we go towards it. When is that likely? When are they going to really start to bring in the big guns in with the World Cup promotion?
It's already started in the sense that if you go to your local tabacaria stanco, like corner shop, you can buy the sticker album.
Oh yes.
So, I'm gonna do that with my son. I think that'll get him into it. So yeah, I think the PR machine, as you say, will start to crank up. I reckon a few weeks before it starts. But it'll be interesting because I don't actually know when the football calendar takes a break, so the players can then meet up with their international teams, travel there. Presumably, they're going to need to be there at least a couple of weeks before to acclimatise and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, we're still another 6 weeks away from the first match being kicked off. In fact, yeah, that's not long, is it? That's not long to go now. 18th of November, I think it starts. 14th or 18th of November, something like that.
Is that right? So we will start seeing a lot more of this. People who aren't football fans will start dreading the increased coverage, and footy fans will be loving it. And you make the point, of course, that a lot of players are still playing, aren't they, whilst the World Cup is on? I mean, technically, they won't be because they'll be at the World Cup, but ordinarily, they might be having a Boxing Day fixture to be looking forward to in the winter, but now they've got a World Cup final possibly to look forward to.
Yeah, well, the last game's on the 18th of December, and I don't know when the season resumes. Presumably, there'll have to be a little break again, and then obviously there'll be a lot of congested fixtures, and the season will finish really late. So it's going to be so weird. Different. Yeah,
is that how it will work? Because Boxing Day football is a big thing in the UK, isn't it? Yeah. Is it going to be logistically possible that that football players will be able to do the World Cup? Well, I guess if England don't stay to the end, they'll be fine for a Boxing Day fixture, won't they?
Yeah, but obviously, like in the Premier League now, most of the top players play there, so most Premier League players will be at the World Cup anyway. So
some will be tired.
Yeah, exactly. Some will be more tired than others, right? So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think managers always get nervous when players go on international breaks or tournaments because they don't know who's going to get injured or what state their squad's going to be. But this time it's going to be particularly challenging because the transfer window will open in January. So if any players get injured or they need to buy or replace anyone, then it's going to be very, very frantic. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that all pans out. But obviously, extremely exciting. If you're into that, if you like football, if not, then as you said, you'll be hiding for a month because there'll be like 3 or 4 matches on every day. You won't be able to avoid it.
And yeah, so it will be, I suppose, in terms of the fight for our attention, which is what all sort of marketing and PR seems to be about. We'll have Halloween, the World Cup, and Christmas all within quick succession, won't we?
Yeah, true. It's true.
That's going to be bizarre, isn't it? So the kids it's going to be expensive for parents, I think, because of that as well.
Yeah.
In football-loving households, anyway. Okay, we've actually got a question, Michael. I forgot we were doing Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sitting here chatting. The only thing that's missing is a full English breakfast as we sit here and chat. We could have just had the clanking of cutlery and crockery. I did send you, didn't I? Did you get the picture of the Heinz British breakfast in a tin? Did you get that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm struggling to bring it onto the screen.
On the subject of breakfast, you traumatized me last month because I did what you told me not to do,
which was what?
Well, we wouldn't go into details, but you were telling me what a Portuguese breakfast. You didn't tell me what.
Oh, okay. Let's move on then.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Ask anything question. Okay. Anyone know the website link or info for registering for voting locally? Do you know then of any foreigners who've settled in Portugal and have become voters? Michael, can we help on this?
Yeah, but you obviously have to be a Portuguese national to vote, right? So once you've got your nationality, you can. I haven't got mine yet, so I don't know. Honest answer. But I'll find out. I'm sure I can ask someone, and they'll send it to me.
All right. Okay. Anyone else can help with that? We have those Portuguese friends here, of course, this morning, so they might be able to help us with that. Sent you a link on WhatsApp about civilization. It hits the nail on the head. Wow, that would be pretty big stuff to get into this morning. The nature of civilization or commentary on it. The red. Oh, Deagle. We didn't get your view on the strip. The red, green, awful, but the white one, lovely. So yeah, let's bring that back onto the screen so you can have your say on it as well, Michael. What do you think of this? It's always a big moment, isn't it, when a country reveals its World Cup strip?
Yeah, I agree. I think the especially the angle that they photographed Ronaldo, it does look a bit. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
A lot of green bottom, which is hidden by that girl's head there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And I suppose they've had to take special care to make a strip that can be worn in hundreds of degrees of Fahrenheit as well. So there's special considerations for the type of technology, I would have thought, with this.
You'd hope so, yeah.
And will you be do you buy these? Do you splash out, as it were, on a lot of these kits?
No. I used to get it every time, but I'll get one for my kids for sure. I'll get one for my kids. Yeah, definitely.
So Deagle, not a fan on that. I don't know if anyone else has got anything to say about that. It was, of course, and we should mention and to show our respect and absolute horror for what went on in Indonesia. I mean, this day and age, that just should not be happening, right, Michael? Yeah. You must have seen the news on that.
Yeah, it's sad. Obviously, we had a lot of problems with this kind of thing in the 80s, right? With Heysel and safety, and they banned standing in stadiums for because of all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's shocking to see it. Something happening like that today.
Kelly Garcia's in this morning as well. It's Raquel. So she uses a nom de plume in her coaching business. Lighthouse Consulting Undercover. Okay, I was going to say we won't blow your cover. I just think I already did. I like the white. This is so the white kit is a lot more popular than the red and green. But the red green looks like it's something you wear for a school football team. Yeah. Not easy being a football kit designer though, when you have to face all of that. Premiership starts on St. Stephen's Day. Restarts on the Boxing Day for those Boxing Day fixtures by the sound of it. And we do discuss this, don't we, from time to time, Michael, the political aspects of whether there will be pressure with where the choice of the venue for the World Cup this year, of course. Paris joins boycott of fan zones over human rights. I wonder how strong that's going to be. Have you got a view on that?
Yeah, we kind of touched on this last time, didn't we? I think it's the problem people have with Qatar hosting the World Cup is obviously for example, it's illegal to be gay in Qatar, right? Yeah. So if you're a football fan and you happen to be gay, then you probably won't travel to watch the World Cup in Qatar. Yeah. They obviously for a country like Qatar to host the World Cup, it is very much a political cleansing exercise because they want to present a positive image of the country to the world. But they have spent an absolute fortune.
Right.
200 billion or something crazy, like a ridiculous amount of money. It's ridiculous how much they spend.
But they haven't changed the law. But they've got yeah, okay, all right, okay. Well, so understandably, then Lille, Marseille, Bordeaux, Strasbourg, and Reims are also boycotting the competition on ethical grounds. I wonder where else they'll be doing this. And at the moment, I mean, the thing is like you could be out protesting about something or other every weekend, couldn't you? With the way things are in the world, and they might still have their gilets jaunes left over when they go to these particular events. And you can add Thanksgiving for the Americans to the rapid fire list of holidays during the World Cup as well. So Halloween, Thanksgiving, World Cup, and Christmas itself. The last French city to announce they will not be setting up giant screens and fan zones for the approaching World Cup in Qatar. Oh, okay. So that list that you gave us. Nope. Yeah, I think you know more about this than us. Then
Yeah,
possibly.
you need to get her on instead of me.
You can vote locally as a
Okay.
resident. Oh, okay.
Okay.
You're talking about local elections. Michael may have thought you were talking about nationals there, but maybe it's the same. Darren Live. Seriously, Rebel Mama, if you do find out more during with your own research, you do let us know. It's a team effort for sure. Darren Live. Who are the cheapest utility providers in Portugal? Thank you for that question. Ask anything about Portugal Wednesday. You might have a view on this, Michael.
Do you know what? It's an interesting one because sometimes you don't have a choice. So, for example, if you live in the Cascais area, then there's only one water company, which is Aguas de Cascais, right? So you don't have a choice. When it comes to gas and electricity, you do. I would say, like in most countries, you have 3 or 4 providers. They are not allowed to do this legally, but they effectively operate as like a bit of a cartel. So they ensure they charge pretty much the same amount. So you're not going to save much, especially at the moment. You're not going to save a lot. Yeah.
Okay, and I know that EDP, when you call them, they're obliged to tell you what the competition is. I've heard a fellow expat immigrant say, report the story of phoning EDP, and they go through the list of the competitors because they're obliged to, in a way that you don't really understand or become fearful because you're opening a whole new can of worms. And the thing about that is, I think it is particularly true for expats and people who are settling in Portugal, is you want probably a first and foremost, front and center of your mind, is to do the most convenient and quickest thing. And that's probably why EDP get the business. And that's probably why Millennium BCP get the business. And that's I don't know if they do this consciously, but any company that will speak to a foreigner in English and say, don't worry about it, we can just take care of all of this, sign here, will probably get the business, won't they? And so when it comes to getting the best deals on utilities, I think that's what tends to happen. People go with other considerations rather than the lowest price. We would be glad to hear, like I said, it's a hive mind, a team effort. If you feel like you've got a really good deal on electricity or gas, fiber optic, internet, those sorts of things, mobile phones, let us know. We'd love to know the specifics of the deals if you think you've cracked that here in Portugal, especially for Darren Live, and I'm sure for others who are watching this morning as well. James, I believe you can vote in local elections as a resident. That's great. Anyone who can find out any more about that will be fantastic. Trugs, what does that mean, I wonder? Why is Gary Austin saying that? I wonder. The Portuguese kit, modelled by a Man City player, and 6-3 at the weekend, Frank. I don't think Frank will be watching, fearing you revealing that result on the screen. I was with Owen and we were getting ready to watch the match on Saturday. We couldn't find any reference to it on the internet. And then we realized that match was just the day after. You know you're a bit of an old Giffer football fan when you get the day wrong. I have approximately 20 Tranmere Rovers kits from the 90s. I have a few other rare tops. I'm looking a tie, what's that, a tie necktie, sporting reissued top or sporting 5 violin shirt. I think there might be a few typos in there, don't you?
Possibly.
Could you do that again for us? And look at this. This is going back a bit. I don't know if you remember this, Michael. I quite liked Erica Rose strip from when was that? Was that from the 80s? Happy memories. Happy memories. Yeah, I mean, this was from the streaking time. That's what he's referring to there. It was a young lady called Erica Rowe who ran onto the pitch and dispensed with her kit. Streaking. I don't think it's going to happen in Qatar for some reason. And I think Michael supports Chelsea. Can you confirm or deny?
How dare you? How dare you? No.
Why would
never support? No, I support Norwich City. I support Norwich City. No.
Why would he say that, do you think?
I don't know.
You seem the sort.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe he thinks I sound either a bit posh or a bit like a hooligan. So I don't know what vibe I'm giving up there.
I knew Rebel Mama would help us with the utilities. Thank you for that, Rebel Mama. We'll come to those in just a minute. I was recommending Millennium by stepdaughter, Vodafone by her partner. Yeah, I've tried Vodafone and also Mayo. And like Michael says, it's the same with internet. Often it's what's available in your area. And clearly, you don't want to be just getting the best deal when it comes to internet. You want to be going with the strongest signal, because you will regret that at your leisure, that you
Yeah.
got a good deal with the worst company if they're not being able to fire the internet into your house at high speed, as Michael seemed to be saying earlier on. They are, local tips then. But I mean, it's not as if there's a great choice. There is that third operator, isn't there, in the no, about 4 operators in the internet and phone market. But the big 3 seem to dominate it: NOS, Mayo, and Vodafone, of course. And I can't remember the name of the other one, but I'm sure somebody will remind us about that. Utilities, I think it may depend on where you live. Victoria pays a lot for electricity in the Algarve, and we have EDP up here in the north. This is for you, Darren. It's pretty cheap, 35 a month for a 3-bedroom house. I mean, there'll be people looking from around the world at the moment, won't they, and saying 35 a month for a 3-bedroom house for electricity. That's amazing. Another great reason to move to Portugal.
Yeah.
And water at 20 euros a month. Those are great numbers. Thank you for those, Rebel Mama. That's what you can look forward to in Portugal, hopefully. Is it true? Had you heard this, Michael, that the EU are insisting that Portugal and Spain feel the pain of increased gas costs? But actually, Portugal and Spain get their gas from Morocco. Is that right? Or from Northern Africa?
Yeah.
So
So there's no. That's why we haven't seen prices go up too much, because we're not affected by it in the same way. And obviously, the country, in theory, could power itself on renewables as well, the
Yes.
whole year round. So
But
and
my
I think as well,
understanding, I don't know if it's just the Daily Mail that said this, but my understanding is that the EU want Portugal and Spain to stand in solidarity with other countries of the EU and pay much more for energy.
I mean, there's so many things I could respond to that.
I couldn't draw you on that. I heard that big pause there. Okay. All
It's
right.
an expansive question that requires an expansive answer. Let's just
Oh,
leave it.
okay. I mean, we may not go there. We'll have some comedy instead, shall we, in a little while,
Definitely.
if he calls us. Okay. Oh, look at this. Further insight on why you
Yeah,
might be.
I'm being trolled. I'm being
Look
trolled
at
and
this.
goaded here.
It's the look. Oh, big boy crypto pads. A quick question then, Matt. Thank you for tuning
Yeah,
in.
how's Bitcoin doing, mate?
Oh, nice comeback.
There
Right.
we go.
He's hodling. That'll be his answer.
Yeah.
If you have NHR status in Portugal, would you pay less tax running a UK company or a Portuguese company? Oh, interesting. Michael, I know you work from time to time with helping people set up companies here in Portugal. What's your view on that?
Yeah. So the answer is yes, but also no. It just depends. So
Yes, as it would do in Portugal.
yeah, with NHR, the easiest way to understand it is if you're say a retiree in Portugal from the UK, or you have income from the UK, having NHR means you're not having to pay um, additional tax in Portugal on what you earn outside of Portugal. But that law has actually changed now. So now you do actually have to pay 10% or 9%, something like that. And
Oh,
then
yes.
basically anything you earn in Portugal, it's a flat 20 or 25% rate on income tax if you're an employee. But if you run a company in Portugal, let's say you want to pay yourself dividends as a director, it's still 28%. So NHR, it's a bit misunderstood sometimes. Like a lot of people sometimes
Oh, yes.
misunderstand. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly what it is, because people think, oh, it's a tax free like regime, or it's a huge tax benefit. And then the other thing you've got to remember is you've only got it for 10 years. So after 10 years, so this is the Portugal like strategy. Let's get all these wealthy retirees from Northern Europe who'll come here and live here. But they're only going to get that tax break for 10 years. So in 10 years, probably a lot of them will then leave, go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's not good, is it? And I don't think by anyone's estimation, Portugal should be seen as a tax haven, should it? As I've learned more about it here, I think you're looking at really setting aside half your wages, right?
Yeah.
And that's an overestimate, but certainly don't be thinking you're going to be paying 10 or 20%. That it's a high taxing country in so many ways. It does have the whiff of the NHR about it, and some of these schemes that will make you think it's a highly tax advantageous company. I think a lot of people find that the opposite is true. Oh, I'm here whenever you're ready, says Tamara. I nearly gave out he's waiting for me to ring him, Michael.
Okay,
So
good man.
I'm going to do that. Let's see if I can get you answering another question while I'm doing that. I am not standing in solidarity, no, by paying more energy costs with other countries. And please don't quote the Daily Mail. Yeah, I do apologize for that. I beg your pardon. I meant it metaphorically. Yeah, as a sort of as an EU bashing metaphor there, that some people were reporting that in terms of Portugal and Spain and their energy costs. Sporting reissued a tie. I didn't know what this was, a tie neck, not a button shirt from the 1950s with long sleeves. Now that sounds like a nice bit of vintage. They also made a special 5 violin shirt in honor of the 5 players from the late 50s. They were like a beautiful violin playing. Okay, thank you for your elaboration on that. And what's this? Portugal? I didn't know this. We learn something every morning. Portugal gets most gas from Nigeria.
So I knew it was Africa. I didn't know where.
And Andy, Porky Feet Andy in the Bairrada. They did the Belfast City Hall and Stormont tours. We were looking for tips to do in Belfast here on the Expats Portugal Show yesterday. But Andy's mum and dad had a lovely time doing the bus and Titanic Expo, of course. Belfast was where the Titanic was made. Forgot to mention Stiff Little Fingers are my favourite bands ever. Also from Belfast, I would guess from that comment. Vodafone, Mayo, Nos and Nowo. There you go. Have you had any experience with Nowo?
I used them briefly when I lived in Adelaide, actually. That was my provider in Adelaide. I used them for a year, and they were absolutely fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and good value as well? Is that's the idea?
They were really cheap. Yeah, they were really cheap.
Okay, so there you go. Best price for Nowo, but not widespread, and just been bought by Vodafone.
So there you go. Back to 3 again. That's what happens. That's what happens.
It is, isn't it? The market has spoken. All right, let's give Tama a call, shall we? I'm going to. But I don't. Oh, okay. I've got to add him as a contact. Sorry, keep talking, Michael, if you will. Matt continues with the NHR. I heard that you can bring tax below 10% if you run a Portuguese company if you structure it correctly. What might you say about that?
Matt, I think you may have misinterpreted that a little bit. Obviously, if you run a Portuguese company and you're able to deduct a lot of expenses, which you typically can, you could be paying close to 0%. It just depends how it's structured and how you deduct your company expenses in a legal but tax efficient way.
So
it depends. Yeah, it just depends.
But
the corporation tax is 21% on your profit, and then you have to pay 28% if you want to pay yourself as a company director dividends on that profit. So it's still a lot of tax. It's not,
and they're always going to get the last word, aren't they, Michael? This is the thing. You know, you might come into the country thinking I can do this, that, or the other. If the government disagrees with you, you better have a flipping good accountant and legal.
And and some people try and be smart about it, and they'll be like, well, I'm gonna register my company in Madeira, right? Madeira is a little bit like the equivalent of Jersey in the UK, in the sense that it's a lot, not completely tax free, but I think corporation tax in Madeira is 5%. Yes. But the problem with that is you have to have an address there, you have to have an office there, and a lot of Portuguese companies, if they see that you're invoicing them from Madeira, they will think it's dodgy. So they won't work with you. Yeah.
Okay. Be very careful, Matt. I would allow contingency. Don't build your business plan on paying a tiny amount of tax, because that could be very disadvantageous to you. See it as a bonus rather than as part of the business plan would be my advice to you. But nobody on this earth should take business advice from me. Okay, let's give Tamara a call and see if... Are you hearing that ringing, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if he's going to pick up. He's on a train, I think. Okay, this is exciting, isn't it? Not able to join us visually, I don't think, but maybe he's fallen asleep on the train. It can happen, can't it? That gentle swaying of the train. No. Or maybe I'm ringing somebody else. That could be the other explanation here.
That'd be funny if you're ringing.
It might be like a Nepalese restaurant in Lisbon. We'll get a nice takeaway if that's the case. Or he's in a tunnel.
Could be. Yeah, he could be in a tunnel.
Be in a tunnel, couldn't he? Or at the bar. He could be at the bar,
getting
a drink. You know what these comics are like. Okay, well, we'll try him a little bit later on.
No worries.
No response as yet. Then I do need to check his phone number. Let's see what's coming in on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Michael Heron here from Avanlight. Look at this, Raquel. Raquel
Hello,
giving
Raquel.
a bit of trouble last time, I think. It's always a pleasure seeing you both together. Very informative. So how can we get in contact with Mr. Michael Heron? Look at that. It's very formal, isn't it?
Very
For
cool.
more information. So how can people get in touch with you, Michael?
Yes, so my email address is on the screen, michael@avanlight.com.
There you go. And Big Boy Crypto Pants, is he coming back at you again? Oh no, the pound is okay. Really? What's he saying though? The pound is okay. It's the PM and the treasurer that's the problem. That's usually the case, isn't it?
Yeah.
And is Mayo a good broadband company? In my experience, that's what I'm using. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
in your experience, is it? Yes, because Darren, that's how you're seeing this very show. It's going down the infrastructure of Mayo. The price is pretty good. I've got their broadband, internet, and TV package. And what do I pay? About 40 notes for that a month. So there you go. For you, Darren, as well, from Pete, we have Mayo and NOS are a bit rubbish. We have a local provider. So there are some local options as well. This is what's going over in Fundawe in central Portugal. It is worth looking for small providers as you get a personal service. Pete, who are they? Are they local as in they're geographically local, or are they a national company? Yeah, we'd like to know a bit more about that. Okay, what about the euro? What's this? What about the euro against the dollar? Can't blame trust for that one. I dare say somebody will be. And Stiff Little Fingers came just a mile from North Belfast, just a mile from Deagle over there. Then people talking about their punk and new wave memories on the show this morning.
Yes.
I love the fact that Portugal have wide fiber internet available, whilst the UK relies on dial-up at 56k. It's not quite that bad, is it?
No.
And what's this? Or Imperial? Oh, his name's throwing me again. We actually met our provider before they opened, but anyone can hire space on a mast or use fiber cables. So there you go, Michael. It's possible, is it not, that people could even start their own cooperatives and hire some of the bandwidth off a tower and start their own internet company. What do you think?
I didn't know that. Well, if that's the case, then that sounds fantastic. We should do it. We should do one.
Well, start our own.
Yeah.
The Avanlight Internet Company.
Yeah. Why not?
What could put this time next year, Rodney?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do tap water. Avanlight.
That only Fools and Horses reference would have gone over everyone's head.
We'll see about that. Okay. Rebel Mama, Michael, want to start up. Oh, okay. We want to start up an artist co-op here. Simple advice for some type of registration. It will not make much money. So a not-for-profit organization. This is interesting. Thank you, Rebel Mama, because you do need to register activities, don't you, here in Portugal? So that will be part of it. And then I don't know what else you would need to do legally. Have you got a view on that?
Yeah. So obviously you can register a company with the activity being to act as a charity, which means obviously you'll pay way less tax, but you'll still have to pay tax. So it just depends how much income you think you're going to make. Often I say to people, if they just want to start their own business, it's better to start as a freelancer, recibos verdes, for the first year, and then take it from there. But setting up a company in Portugal is really easy, like really quick. It takes an hour. You can do it on the spot. It costs 360 euros. You open a bank account open a business bank account that afternoon, and you can start trading straight away. So it's extremely easy. But you need to check with a good accountant what activity to register for to make sure you are eligible for that tax break as a registered charity. But it's definitely possible.
That is an important point, isn't it? I tried to be smart myself and registered my own activity at the local finances, and I registered at the wrong rate for the added 23%. And it just makes so much sense what Michael's saying there. Get yourself a decent accountant for sure. That's not an easy thing to do necessarily. It's all right for you big city types, isn't it? But I think the further you go out into the sticks, the more difficult it becomes to get a decent accountant. What would you say about that, Michael?
I don't know. I mean, obviously these days you don't need to worry about your accountant being local to you, right? So it can be someone
on your high street. Okay, fair enough. Sorry, that makes me sound a bit parochial.
So, it makes you sound like
But when you go in,
it makes you sound like a grumpy old man who didn't have his crust on this morning.
well, guilty as charged. But what, I don't want to be getting on a train to Lisbon to take my bag of receipts, my plastic bag full of paper. I mean, there are times when you need to pop in, but I guess the point you're making is you might only have to do that once or twice a year if you've got your system sorted out.
Yeah, but if you've got, like my accountant, we have an app where you can just take a photo of your receipts and it uploads automatically to the website. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the name of that app, or is it own proprietary stuff?
It's proprietary, yeah. It's their own. Yeah.
All right, very good. So yeah, excellent advice there. Thank you, Rebel Mama. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your artist co-op? We'd love to know more. How can we help with that? Jake from the Stiff Little Fingers is still playing, mainly acoustic, lives in USA now, I think. Still sounds great though. Where has Michael been on Friday evenings? I think that's a man cave invitation to you there.
Oh, yes, true. I have. It's been a while. I do apologize. I will be back soon, and I appreciate receiving the invite every week. And I do.
He's very good with that. I get that as well. I don't often partake, very rarely partake, but we do appreciate that, both of us here. Okay, let's try Tamer again and see if he'll speak to us. See if he'll answer the phone this time. See, if you're at a big radio station, somebody else will be doing this for you. We're doing it ourselves, and we're enjoying the drama of our guest possibly not answering the phone to us this morning. And if anyone else has got Tamer on speed dial, then please drop him a line and let him know that we're trying to get in touch with him. Oh, that sounds a bit odd, that one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to just drop that into the background and we'll let that ring there for a minute. Okay, a big boy crypto pants, possibly, and Andrew having a bit of a ding dong here. You still have to convert it back into cash, and crypto has a very real problem as many of the exchanges have collapsed as well. Okay, so not great news. Internet, yep. This is the private company that's doing it.
Okay.
And okay,
write that down.
And so here's some financial advice. Not that you should take it without seeking your own professional help. Gold coins, sovereigns, and half sovereigns. That sounds really only fools and horses, doesn't it? I'm on Mayo. Thank you, James, for this. And your recommendation or not about Mayo is it's almost exclusively the provider, presumably in Ericeira, which runs a bit glitchy at times. So it really depends. Darren, you were asking that question about internet providers. You really should check with a local. What is the best? Well, there may be only one and you've got to go with it. But if you've got a choice, go with the fastest, because you will regret getting a good deal only to find that you can't really connect with anybody. Okay, been on a call. Glad to catch the end. We're not finished yet, Francis, and we're trying to get through to our mate Tamer Katan, who's not picking up at the moment. On his way to the Porto Comedy Festival this weekend. And they have an opening evening, I believe, of English language comedy. We'll try him again later, though. Hopefully he'll pick up at some point. Don't talk about the Lehman Brothers. Yes, fiat currency. How do they keep going? The printing presses, well, they're not printing presses, are they? It's just a return button on a computer somewhere in a Federal Reserve, isn't it? Making more and more money. Or the latest rumor call about Credit Suisse or Deutsche Bank. That's a crypto guy having a bit of a pushback there with the fiat currency people. A Lisboa Spring, what does that mean? Is that a kind of dance move or a political movement?
That could be a euphemism for anything. We need to be careful with this kind of thing.
That's right. It might be in the same list as Portuguese breakfast. Possibly.
Exactly.
Sounds like you were amused if appalled by that, Michael. Check out Nirvana Studios in Lisboa. There's a recommendation, fellow artist there. And choosing, what do you got to say about this, Michael? Choosing a company name is a blooming nightmare.
Yeah, because you can't just pick this is what people don't realize. You can't just pick your own name. You have to choose it from a list, from a pre-approved list of dormant companies. And yeah, it's a nightmare. It's like they're all terrible.
You can have your own, but it will take longer, right?
It takes ages.
Yeah. Okay.
It takes ages, and there's no guarantee it will be approved. So,
and that's what you didn't say about. Of course, about the speed of starting up a company. Of course, it can be done in an hour and it will cost you 360 euros. But that's if you just take the off-the-shelf name. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So if we do want the Avanlight internet company, LDA. We're going to have to wait for that. So it might be a different name, our new internet company, everybody. If you store it, look at this. This is a little bit of insight into the crypto world. There are people being left behind with crypto. Some say it's going to be the future. Some say it's on its last legs. If you store any crypto on a centralized exchange, you are always more at risk. BBCP is telling us. And last one on tax then from Matt. I think this is for you, Michael. What do you think of running a Malta company? Now, I've heard of this. People are setting up Maltese companies, aren't they? And even Belgian. The last thing I heard on this, in terms of setting up advantageous companies or countries where you can do that, Belgium, somebody mentioned to me as well recently. Corporation tax is 35%. Then 6 of 7, what's this? Of that, 6/7 of that, 35% can be refunded when you take dividends from a second Malta company. Sounds like it's him who should be answering the questions here with that level of knowledge, Michael. Have you heard of this?
I mean, what I'd say, Matt, is feel free to get in touch, mate, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it, because there are a number of different variations in different jurisdictions. But again, you've got to be careful, because just because you're paying less tax somewhere else doesn't mean you're then not liable to pay it here as well. So
yes, exactly. Yes, well said. Well said. It doesn't mean just because you're offshore somewhere that you're not going to be paying tax. Of course, Portugal are going to want some of your money here. Every government, wherever you are in the world at the moment, is going to want a little bit of your money to keep things going. After the last couple of years we've had and the year we seem to be going into. But that is a good question, putting it like that. Where would you set up a company if you started one now? The great thing, of course, if you want to come to Portugal and make your life here, I think it's a good look to have your company here. And as you said there, Michael, people do get suspicious, don't they, if they think they're dealing with somebody out of the country. And that's the case even for mobile phones, isn't it, on WhatsApp, is that Portuguese people don't like ringing out of the country. I think, wherever you go in the world, that always
there's a very simple explanation for that, and it may be what people aren't realizing. It's the very simple fact that if you hire a company to provide a service to you, but they aren't registered in Portugal, then if something goes wrong and you need to take it to court, it's a nightmare. So that's the simple reason why people don't do business a lot of the time with companies that aren't registered in Portugal.
There you go.
For that reason. So
all right. Yes, I think carefully about that, Matt. I think if you want to make your life here, it's a good idea to have a Portuguese company. And for on your, not that anyone has headed notepaper anymore, but you know what I mean. Metaphorically speaking, your organizational constitution would look good as being constituted in some ways a Portuguese company. Tell that. Oh, look at this. It always gets to this, doesn't it? It always gets to this with the crypto people and the crypto critics. Tell that to the idiots who have lost their codes. We know one who lost 2,600 Bitcoin as they got locked out of theirs. That is like being the fifth Beatle, but even worse. Michael, says Raphael.
How's it going, mate? Good to see you, buddy.
The T-Duck's got to go this morning. Thank you very much for coming back to your dad jokes in a bit. I'm going to try Tamer one more time and see if we can get in touch with the man. Let's ring him again, and we'll leave that ringing in the background and see if we can talk to him quickly before the show is out this morning. It's a lot of man cave greetings going on at the moment.
Fantastic.
In the comments here. Ciao, yo. We're heading out to Caldash before going to the meetup today. Okay, see you later, T-Duck. Thank you very much. And Carl, I love all your viewers and Michael, of course. What's he saying there?
No.
He's getting a bit of heat. He's getting a bit of heat. The crypto people do get a bit of heat, don't they? Can we know more about the D7 visa for job seekers? So this is on the agenda. This is more of a Monday thing with Gilda. Actually, I have a nice announcement to make. The Migration Monday, people were sad to hear that it was a last Migration Monday last Monday. There is going to be Migration Monday on a Tuesday now, kind of. It's going to be Migration Tuesday. It's going to be in the evening. You're the first to hear it right now. Gilda and I will continue to talk to each other on a Tuesday evening, which is going to be a whole lot easier for people in other parts of the world. So how good is that? The migration conversation continues and will continue on Tuesday. It'll begin next Tuesday evening. You can find out about Mandela, her dog, and as well as these sorts of questions. D7 visa for job seekers. Is this rattling around your particular ecosphere, Michael, the new digital nomad visa? That's all the talk at the moment, isn't it? But not many people have been able to pursue it because it's law, but it's not hit the ground. The rubber hasn't hit the road yet.
Yeah, I'm not massively like with my ears on the ground with this one. So yeah, better to speak to Gilda about that.
Let's talk to Gilda on that one. Okay. We're still not getting. Oh, call decline. Oh, okay. At least he's declined my call now, so that's a
Wow.
good start, isn't it? Well,
Yeah.
it's not. It's not a good start. It's better. We know we are at least bothering him now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he might be having a situation. So, and I
Maybe.
think. Guess what? I'm getting the typing thing, which is always very
Oh,
exciting.
nice.
Yeah. So my green ticks have turned to blue, and he has been trying to type something. Okay, well, we may speak to him before the end of the show. We had a problem as aircraft knocked out our signal, and the head of the company was around within an hour to fix it. As a what? An aircraft knocked knocked the top of Pete's mast, and as a few of you know, we're not easy to find. Wow. Okay, but that's good. That's a good service, isn't it? Around within the hour to fix that. Not many companies can do that. Although when I drilled into my Vodafone cable, the guy was there the next day and replaced my fiber optic cable, which I drilled through at no cost to me, which was fantastic.
Okay, that's good.
Peckham Springs, we're going to have something like, I don't know, the Estoril Fizz or something like that. We'll think of something uniquely Portuguese for our new brand of bottled water and our internet service. Avanlight Springs, there you go. That sounds really good, actually. We've never had a better internet connection, and we live, as Andrew Gilchrist calls it, in Tatooine. I don't know what that means, but in the middle of nowhere, possibly in French. Portuguese children have to be named for an approved list. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although, I mean, that's not to say that people
That's
do.
That's why there are so many. That's why there are so many Joaos.
Indeed, and Nunus, and there has been an approved list, but I think it's relaxing a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
It is a bit. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm on another call. Bummer. I tried phoning in, but it wasn't working. Okay.
Oh well, never mind.
Okay, I'll just send him a quick. Can you speak to us before 10? Okay. Live as it happens. The conversation we're not happening with that's not happening, and we're not having with Tama. Can you speak before 10? Okay, is the question. I'm just sending him on WhatsApp now. If you, says Stephen, still watching you, Stephen, if you use an off-the-shelf company name, can you then use a trading name as well? That's a great question. So can you be trading as?
Exactly. So Avanlight obviously isn't the name of the company that I had to choose from the pre-approved list, right? So I have the company name, which is what the company is incorporated under, but then I use Avanlight to trade. So that's the trading name. But when I invoice a client, it's using the company name. If that makes sense.
Okay, I have bad news back from Tama. You're gonna have to go to his website. We have been bumped, and we understand why in this scenario. I don't know if you're still on the screen there. My screens have gone black here. Not quite sure why that is. I'm giving you his website address, Tama Katan. Tama like hammer, as he said. Katan, his second name, .com. He can't speak to us. He's on a call for an audition. So I'm going to send him. I'm going to say Bossort from all the Gumpers. Okay. Bossort with that from all the Gumpers. So fingers crossed for Tama. And if he gets the audition, I think we should all get tickets for that, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
It seems only fair that he's blown us out this morning for an audition. And so if we're instrumental with him getting that, we can expect a few names on the door, I think. So Bossort with that, love for the Gumpers. I'm going to do here, love from the Gump. Sorry, I'm not a very fast typer.
I can see. But I think you're still faster than the administrative workers in the tax.
Wait. Okay. Hello, Carl. And Michael, still in time for listening to you both on the last 15 minutes. No, last 6 minutes now. Joao F, always great to have you here.
Hi, Joao. Love Joao.
Raquel. So that was a bit too formal for Mr. Look at this. Is that what you're known? Is that your Insta?
No, mate. I don't know where this is coming from. No.
Quite like that, though. Mr. Lisbon. We've got Mr. Lisbon with us this morning. Okay. We have 3 to 4 artists and my garage to sell out of. This is how great legends begin, Rebel Mama. I do want to give some euros to a local charity. Each artist pay their own income taxes. So I guess you're looking at whether you have to register a cooperative, because you're all going to be having your own business, paying your own income tax. I think, Joao F, what do you think of this? Antonio F, what do we think of this? If they become a cooperative of artists and become a movement of artists in northern Portugal that history looks back on as being incredibly influential, do they have to register that sort of thing at their local camera? That's the big question, I think, here. I guess register as an association, there you go, and have an accountant. Always good to have an accountant. And the fees for those accountants are usually pretty modest, it has to be said, and they should cover their costs, of course, with the savings that they will afford you. That's a shame if they lost their keys. I also lost money out of my pocket before and couldn't get it back. I've learned there's another retort and comeback from the crypto man, big boy crypto pants there. And even before crypto was ever thought of, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. As with all great social movements. Jim White, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Good service from Vodafone. That's up in Porto. Our cats ate through the cable. They fixed it at no cost. That's got to be a visit to the vet, hasn't it? Chewing through fiber optic cable, which I think is made of glass, is it not? Naughty cats there. Although I wonder if the cats became little, routers after that. Okay, little furry routers. Tatooine is a Star Wars reference, so a distant point in the galaxy, in the universe, I think. And that was a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. It's already before 10. That's true. Okay, did I just say that? Please, sir, Solomon, we can't help you tonight. Tune in next Tuesday. We can't help you this morning. I mean, tune in next Tuesday night. Please, sir, do justice to my question. We're doing our best here. Can we know more about the D7 visa for job seekers? I think the best we can do is to refer you to EI. They're in our business directory at expatsportugal.com, Solomon. We weren't ignoring you. We're just not the best people to speak on that.
Well, I mean, what I can say to Solomon is wherever you live, mate, go to your nearest Portuguese embassy or consulate and you can apply for it there, and they will explain everything you need, how much money you need to have in your bank account, and whether you're eligible for it or not. That's the easiest thing to do. That's one of the things Gilda will tell you to do for sure.
There you go. Tatooine is the place where Luke Skywalker lived. Okay, now it all makes sense. Okay, yes, and Central Portugal, of course, does bear some resemblance to that. Also, Napkin Skywalker. This is a possibly a Star Wars geeky reference that I'm also not getting this morning.
There's a lot of them this morning. I can see that.
Yeah, saw Tama this time. Was it last year in Porto? Very entertaining. He's great. He is really good. It's a shame we couldn't speak to him, but we will do another time. Rest assured, he will come and join us on the show. He loves what we do here. You lost 5.2 million. That is careless. So from Pete to Big Boy Crypto Pants, you lost 5.2 million euros, which you had in your pocket. Yeah, right. It is froth. And the first thing to get knocked out when the economy tanks, as can be seen by Terra's collapse. Okay, a bit of a ding dong.
This is fantastic. I should have brought popcorn to this.
It's definitely a popcorn conversation there. The English night. Thank you very much for this information that we weren't able to get direct from Tama. The English night at the Porto Comedy Festival is tonight. So get along to that and give Tama a hug from us. It is safe to do so now. And yes, a free gig live. I don't know if that's he's got to do that for us, has he, for blowing us out this morning?
Yeah,
fair enough. The goal of choosing from a list of Portuguese names. Okay, so the comparison was being made with Portuguese company names and Portuguese first names. The goal of choosing from a list of Portuguese names is to keep the Portugueseness in the names of Portuguese citizens. It's a question of national identity. Yes, thank you for that interjection.
Said Joao.
Exactly. Speaking from personal, you couldn't get more personal with that experience. Carl is not an expert on immigration questions, nor Michael. None taken. Gilda Pereira is the expert, and she'll be on the webinar next Tuesday. Every Tuesday night, Migration Tuesday. It hasn't got the same alliterative ring to it. And who doesn't like an alliterative ring, even if you can say it first thing in the morning? Good luck, Tama. Tonight, yeah, lots of love from us all. Tama, have a good one tonight. I've sent him that message, everyone, don't worry. And Elra, just out of curiosity, the name list for babies has more than 80 pages. So if you're struggling for inspiration, you can pop along and have a look at the list and you get a name. That's a good idea, isn't it? Is it on a website somewhere? We should look at that. If it's on a website somewhere, we should have a look at that.
I wonder what the first name is
on the list. Well, if it's alphabetical, what would it be?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because in the UK, it would be Aaron, right?
Yes, Abel. We have our own Abel Pinheiro here, don't we? So it could be Abel, the first name.
Could be.
And that maybe his parents just
I can't remember his name, but there was a UK comedian that would always make fun of this, saying, anyone whose name is Aaron, parents are the laziest because they got the baby book name and just choose the first one.
We're not saying that about you, Abel.
No, we're not. We're not. Well, we might be. We need to find out.
All right. I checked it out on Sunday. Very cool. Has accommodation and workshops. Is that the comedy festival up there in Porto? Excellent stuff. Thank you for everybody Team effort on a Wednesday. We're just up to 10 o'clock. We've got a few dad jokes to do. Call it Transition Tuesday. Look, if we call it Transition Tuesday, we're going to get a much bigger audience, aren't we? And there are many kinds of transition in the world, and we don't want to be confusing people necessarily, although it would mean quite a nice big audience there, asking some very interesting questions of Gilda. Michael, there you go. It is Aran.
Fantastic.
Have you got the list? We need the URL for that. Okay.
Yeah, please, Ella, we need that immediately.
We'll finish with a last word from Michael, as we like to do, but we have dad jokes first. My biology teacher. You weren't keen on this, were you, last time? Do you want to have your last word and go before I do all of these, Michael? Because was it your granddad who used to put you through this sort of nonsense?
What's that?
We did dad jokes last time, and I thought you said...
No. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll play a little game then. If you could stay as poker and stony faced as you possibly can and not laugh at these, right? Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to put them through the Heronius Maximus test as we end the show today. He's laughing already. Are you ready? Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. My biology teacher has skeletons in her closet. Look at that. Look at him. He's not frozen. He is holding that face. He's not laughing at the jokes, though, I think. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear, Michael. No. I think the CIA will be onto you, or MI5.
Maybe. Do I need
a man who can hold his composure under this incredible pressure it would be an amazing asset in the world of international espionage, right? I'm going to try you again. Why did the chicken go to the seance, Michael? To get to the other side.
Okay, that's a good one. But
you're not laughing. That's impressive. Do you play poker as well?
I used to a little bit.
You should maybe think about doing some more, mate, because that took a lot of character and integrity, I have to say to you. And my friend, is why we have you.
If you don't find it funny, though, it's not a poker face, is it? So...
Well, I don't know. In the way that we've had this conversation about coriander and how some people taste soap and how some people can smell ants. We had this conversation on the show recently.
Oh, really?
Okay? Yeah, some people can smell ants. I think they smell a bit like blue cheese or something. I can't remember exactly now. Now, what was I going to say there? Oh, yeah, maybe you've got a genetic disposition where you hear a dad joke and it's just like, it just sounds like information. There's no sort of...
It could well be. Who knows?
And as well as Mr. Lisbon, you've got another name for Instagram, Ice Cold Mike. It could be.
Nice. I'll take that. I've been called much worse in the past, so I'll take that.
Okay, don't worry, Deagle. New timetable for the show. We'll start at 8:30 and go on till after 10, just like we're doing this morning. But you won't see it on Expats Portugal's YouTube channel. You'll have to resubscribe to Good Morning Portugal for that, for the continuation. And need to add the website. What's this? Need to add the website to the address above. Oh, I think we've got the URL for. I think we might have it somewhere in the chat there. We'll certainly get that off Elra. I think she can send it to us on WhatsApp as well. Look at this. Last word to you then this morning, Icy Mikey, as you've been called.
Wow,
I can't wait to do this again. It's got to be a feature when you're on and Ask Anything about Portugal Wednesday. We'll try dad jokes on you, and we've really got to raise the stakes and see if we can make you giggle with those. Okay, Carl and Michael, what's this? Breakfasts? Yikes! Careful now. I send you my version of my very own. I thought she was going to send a picture of her Portuguese breakfast.
Yeah.
There'll be a race to get to WhatsApp to see that. I send you my version of my very own full English breakfast. Hope you enjoy it and have a blessed day, everyone. I'm going to have to share those tomorrow. The technology is not enabling me this morning. I think we've done pretty well to hold the show together this morning with the tech.
Absolutely.
Last word to you then, Michael.
Happy Republic Day, everyone.
There you go. There you go. Icy Mikey with a very simple greeting for us. So that's a firm 8:30ish to 10ish then. Yes, exactly. Here we go. We're going to try him one more time, right? We'll catch him unawares. And a white horse goes into a pub and the barman says, "We have a whiskey named after you." Horse says, "Oh, nice. I'll have a glass of Eric then." Look at that. It is the coriander of humor. I can't believe it. He can probably smell ants, taste soap, and doesn't laugh at dad jokes. Michael Heron, thank you, everybody, this
Cheers,
morning.
guys. Great to see you, mate, as always. Have a great day, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
See you next time, mate. Happy Republic Day. Bye.
Bye.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.